Hey there, team. So on our quest to prepare you as much as possible for college math, I thought we would do a quick section on geometric stuff, 2D measurement, and 3D measurement to be exact. We're going to go over 2D today, 3D tomorrow. If that goes well, we'll have a quiz on Wednesday on those things. If that does not go well, we might push that quiz back to Thursday. And then for the rest of the week, we're going to talk about some statistics stuff. Should be a pretty fun week. Um, Especially because today will largely be a review for you. So, these are required notes, even though most of this you know. It's mainly important because we're going to stockpile this and have it all together 2D and 3D. So, I drew it big, you can draw it small. First thing is obviously a square or a rectangle is just length times width. You can abbreviate this as much as you want. And if I'm moving fast on this, then you can pause the video. And I'm going to do an example of each. Second thing is a triangle. You have to multiply the base of the triangle. Um, you have to multiply the base of the triangle times whatever the height is. All right? Then whatever that is, you're going to multiply it 1/2 times 1/2 because half of a square is a triangle. So you're only using half of that square to get the base times height. That's why. Step number 3, step. Problem number 3 you'll find is a parallelogram. This is also base times height. However, the height is kind of awkwardly in the middle here. So usually what you'll have to do is use this angle and one of your trig functions to find what that h is. All right, next we have a circle. You'll be given either the radius or the full diameter, and you'll have to plug it into pi times radius squared into your calculator for that. Number 4 is the area of a sector, which is like a section, a slice out of this circle. This will be the radius, which would be that side. You'd have an angle given here, the angle measurement. You'd have the angle measurement divided by 360, whatever that is, times pi times r squared. And lastly, we'd have a trapezoid, um, which you would have two bases given, the base on the bottom and then the base on the top. You would need to find the height of the trapezoid, which usually, once again, like the parallelogram, you'd have to use the angle measurement to do that. Then when you have those three numbers, you multiply 1/2 times these two added together, base 1 plus base 2, and then multiply it by the height. All right, pause the video real quick if you need to finish copying those things, and then I'm going to do an example for you, which you also need to write down, and then you'll be able to do your homework. Yay! So, let's do the examples. I'm going to use orange, because orange is... No, I'll have to use a pen. All right, example number 1, square. If you're given 5, what's the area? You literally square 5. Because every side's going to be 5, so that's length times width. That'll be 5 times 5, that'll give you 25. Easy. Rectangle. Length times width, 7 times 6, 42. All right, pause if you need to catch up. Next we have a triangle. We know it's 1/2 base times height. So what's the base? 6. What's the height? 3. So that's 1/2 times 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Half of 18 is 9. All right, so now we get into the kind of funky territory, parallelogram. So I have this side, and I have that side. I have my base. My base is 10. I don't know my height yet. This is not the height. The height would be this. So I need to figure out what the height is. I have my angle measurement. This is 40 degrees. So I should be able to use one of my trig functions to find this. So what's the opposite side of this angle? That's exactly what I'm looking for. And then what measurement of this triangle do I have? I have the hypotenuse, which is 5. So I have my opposite and my hypotenuse. Do you guys remember our trig functions? Which one uses the opposite and the hypotenuse? It's sine. So sine of my angle equals the opposite, which is x, I don't know that, over my hypotenuse, which is 5. What's my angle here? 40. So sine of 40 equals x over 5. So now all I do is plug in sine of 40 into my calculator. I'm going to round. I get 0.64. So 0.64 equals x over 5. How do I get x by itself? I can multiply both sides by 5. And I end up with x equals 0.64 times 5, which is 3.21. So my x equals 3.21, which means my height is 3.21. Now I have my base times my height. What's 10 times 3.21? Is 32.1. There's my answer. Looks long, but if you use your calculator, it really should not be. Example number 3. Pi r squared. I have my radius, so that's pi times 16 squared. So I can just plug that straight into my calculator right away. Pi times 16 squared. I get 256 pi. No calculator, that's not what I wanted. 16 squared, 256 times 3.14. 803.8. That's as close as I'm going to get. There's a circle. For a sector, my equation is my angle divided by 360 times pi times r squared. So what's my angle measure? My angle measure is 30. So that's 30 over 360 times pi times r squared. What's r? 10. So 10 squared. All right. What's 30 over 360 going to give me? 30 divided by 360 is 0.083333. So that number times pi times 10 squared, which is 100. All that gives me 26.18. Now I'll use significant digits. 26.2. Calculator is your friend. Please use your calculator. It'll make you happy. Last one we had was a trapezoid, the most annoying of all of them. Our equation is 1/2 times base 1 plus base 2 times height. So what pieces of this do I have? What's my base 1 and my base 2? 10 and 15. 10 plus 15 gives me 25. So 1/2 times 25 times my height. What's the height of this? I don't know yet because I don't have this measurement. I do have this measurement though, and I do have my angle measure. So if I look at this angle measure, what is this line compared to this angle measure? It's on the opposite side. This angle measure is kind of pointing toward it. That's what I need to figure out. And if I'm looking for the opposite, and I have the hypotenuse, then once again, SOHCAHTOA, opposite and hypotenuse, I would use sine. So I would say sine of my angle, which is 68, equals opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 6. What's sine of 68? I don't know. Let's see. 0.93 equals x over 6. How would I get this x by itself? I'd need to get the 6 out of the denominator, so I'd multiply both sides by 6. And I get x equals 0.93 times 6, which gives me x equals 5.56. Now I have 5.56, that's my height. So I plug it in here. So now I just plug it all into the calculator and I'm done. So 1/2, I'm going to put that in parentheses because calculators are dumb. 1/2 times 25 times 5.56 gives me 69.5. And there's my answer. So, 2D shapes. I think the only thing that's probably going to give you guys trouble, maybe, is remembering the sine, cosine, tangent stuff. If that gives you trouble, if you don't remember that stuff and you really need some extra help, please let me know on GroupMe, and I would be happy to work with you through it, even providing some extra review on that if we need it. I'm assuming you're good on it, so if that's not true, you need to let me know. But there's an example of all of them. I'm going to have a sheet just like this on Google Classroom for you, where you can do one of each of them. And then tomorrow we will talk about 3D. So with that, I bid you guys a great day, and I will talk to you soon.